Welcome back, guys. This is Michael, the last hair blender from Varenco Barbershops. Proudly welcoming you to the first episode of hashtag Forming Connections. And with me today is one of the dopest barbers and close friends within the Arizona barber scene. Man, would you be so kind to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, my name is Linda Lou, the cut dealer. I don't deal dope, I deal dope cuts here in Phoenix, Arizona.
All right. Well, today we are going to be asking each other some icebreaker questions and some background questions that our followers requested. So, if you'd be so kind to start off with the first one.
Perfect. So, who are you and where can they follow you?
As I mentioned, my name is Michael, the last hair blender, and if you remove all the spaces in between each word, you can follow me on both YouTube and Instagram at Michael, the last hair blender.
And what made you choose that name?
Relation to a very special cartoon character that I kind of relate to, but we'll cover that down the line.
Okay, perfect.
What about you?
So I'm Linda Lou, and where you can find me is underscore the cut dealer, all put together on Instagram.
Awesome, awesome. All right, question number two. Before the hair industry, what was your profession?
Prior to cutting hair, of course, I did a little bit of customer service. It was a little bit of fast food and a little bit of convenience stores, and then eventually into a bar, and then finally stepped into, going to school and getting into cosmetology and started my journey from there.
Okay, okay, okay.
What about yourself? What is your background?
Me, prior to cutting hair, I was all over the call center industry. I started with sales, I did customer service, I went through fraud, I did quality assurance, and even a little bit of human resources.
Wow. And how
Yeah.
many years was that?
It's a total of 8 years. Yeah,
Mm.
an 8 year career.
Ah.
Okay. What was it that got you into cutting hair?
What definitely got me into cutting hair was I went to a beauty school that was offering some low prices services. So as I went to get my hair colored, I noticed the girl was just following a book. And I thought to myself, like, she's just following what's on the book. So if she can do it, I can do it. So I figured, you know what, well, let me just step into this and give it a shot. It seemed pretty easy, so that's what got my foot into the industry.
Okay, okay.
And I actually started going to a cosmetology school, not a barber school.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, for me, honestly, it was a lack of communication. A 15-year-old me walking into a barber shop and jotting my name down on the wait list, waiting my 30 minutes and seeing the person get off the chair, leave, and another person walk in and get on the chair,
Mm.
and me still waiting there with nobody telling me anything. They get up, leave, another person comes in and sits on that chair, and they haven't even said as much as a hey. So I
Wow.
figured at least by that point they'd be like, hey, I had these three appointments. I got you next after him. But since there was no communication, I would just get up, leave, go back to the salon that I would normally go to for my number one on the sides and my number four on top. One day, I found a pair of clippers that my uncle had left in under the restroom sink.
Mm-hmm.
It was a clipper and then a few guards. So what did I do? I looked for my number one and my number four, and I went to town on myself, and I've been going from there.
Wow. And was your uncle a barber?
No, no, he would just bald himself out. He wouldn't even touch the plastic guards, so I figured I'd might as well mess with them.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
All right, well, question number four is, what question do you wish people would ask you more?
A question that I would like people to ask me more is what haircut style would work best for their lifestyle. So I have noticed like if they're in construction or they're in something that they gotta get up and go, no maintenance, then most likely they'll get I would recommend to get a short haircut, so buzz cut. I think that would be good. Also, what products they need for their hair. That would be a good question that they could ask because if they have the right products at home, then they're able to maintain their style and make them look good before they come back and visit me for their haircut. So anything from if they have curly hair, they can be using a really good moisturizing shampoo versus somebody who sweats a lot and they need to clarify their hair, which will do a deep cleanse to get all that sweat out their hair. So basically how to take care of their hair at home when they're away from me.
Okay, okay. Well, now that I know you know that information, I think you should hold a class on it
Oh, okay,
some of the
yeah,
barbers
yeah.
that are starting out.
You guys will see a class coming in soon. So, yeah, we'll definitely get that going out there for everybody. Not only for the barbers, but also guests. So,
Stay
yeah,
tuned for that.
yeah, clients.
All right. Now, following question that they wanted us to ask each other is,
Mhm.
do you have a favorite cartoon character and why them?
All right, you guys, I might sound a little funny, but out of everything, I would say Arthur from PBS. I didn't have cable growing up, I'll be honest, and probably out of the shows of PBS was Arthur. It was funny because, waking up at, Saturday, 8 o'clock in the morning when you should be sleeping in, I'm quick to turn that on and watch. I'm able to get the perspective of these teens in the show. So um, I think Arthur is definitely somebody that is my favorite. And yeah, it was a pretty cool show. What about
Yeah,
yourself?
Arthur did slap though.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
show.
Yes.
For me, I would say Avatar Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender. uh, due to the level of responsibility and maturity that he had to uphold at such a young age, I just feel like I relate, and I'm more than positive a bunch of other people would relate to.
Mm. I'll be honest, I have not watched Avatar, so I'll have to check that out.
All right, well, now we're going to be getting into the background questions. The first one out of the background questions: what tools did you learn with, and what do you use now?
So, being in the cosmetology school, they gave me the most basic wall clipper. So, using that clipper, probably didn't have the best motor, of course. I mean, I didn't even know how to clean the clipper properly. The first thing I did was put it under the sink and scrubbed it with some soap until I got corrected. So I didn't know you had to spray it. So I started off with that, and obviously they got rusted, and eventually had to replace my clipper. But what I do use now is my favorite is the Senior Clipper Wall cordless metal. I think it has a very strong motor. I love how it's designed, the way it looks. And also another favorite of mine is the JRL Onyx. I think they're really nice how they're light, cordless. I think cordless is the way to go nowadays because when the cord is in the way, it gets a little annoying with the client wrapping around the chair.
All right.
What about yourself?
I started with a full Andy set. I had the Master, the Fade Master, the Two Speed XL, and then their box shaver. Um, that's what I started with and what I learned how to cut with. Now I have a combination of Baby Liz Low Pros
Mm.
and JRLs between the standard blade and then the fade blade.
Oh, nice. Those are actually really good clippers to start with. So,
They are
um,
nice and quiet too.
nice, nice.
All right, secondary question.
All right. So, all right, Michael. So, what is your least favorite haircut and what is your favorite haircut?
My least favorite haircut, I would say, is when someone walks in with that long hair,
Mm,
strutting their stuff. I do get nervous and I cringe a little bit, even though I do know how to do them now,
mm,
thanks to my current bosses and their teaching. But
yes.
it's something that I have to mentally prepare myself and kind of wrap my head around to be able to perform that particular project because to me it does become a project that I have to be very focused.
Mm,
But my favorite haircut would be honestly anything involving a mid skin fade, whether they start with a bald fade or go with a comb over or a crop top or braids on top or even a slick back, as long as it's a medium skin fade. I love those.
nice, nice. So I would say one of my favorites are definitely the anything with scissors. Um, coming from a background of doing long hair, mostly women's hair, actually, long layers, bobs, face framing. That's really easy for me to do. So I like those haircuts, and I also like the skin fades as well. I think I first started with the shaver box, and then from there transitioned to razor, and then and I would say those are actually one of the mostly haircuts I do for my clients. Those are a lot of requests. Um, but if a least favorite haircut, definitely coarse hair. So if it has a super coarse curly hair, that is definitely a little bit more of a challenge for me, just because I feel like I don't want to take off too much or it's not blended enough. So that's something that I slowly am working on. I do have clients that have that coarse hair, and I've done very well on them, but I would definitely still work on it. So,
All right. Well, as opposed to coarse hair, I have really thick hair. What was it like cutting my hair the time that you cut my hair?
I think in general, anytime I cut another barber's hair, that is it's a really shakes me up just because I feel like I'm getting judged. I know it's everybody has their own system of how to cut hair. So I feel like I do feel comfortable with Latino thick hair,
Hmm.
but when it comes to more curly, coarse hair, that's the one that's a little bit more difficult. But I would say it's not that hard to cut your hair. It would just be more of like there's this barber in my chair and he's probably going to be picky, or he's going to be like, oh, she didn't
Uh,
know how to do this, she didn't know how to do that.
so you kind of psych yourself out
Definitely.
before even the
It,
situation happened.
exactly. And then especially like when you just start out having your own studio and you're going solo
Hmm.
versus you're used to working at a company where people come in, and then this is just a little bit more personalized. Like you got to make sure like you're doing the haircut in a proper time before the next client comes in. So yeah, that kind of spooked me out. But it's all right because even myself, I'll take my child to another barber and see how they do things, and just see like, did they greet me? Did they how did they cut the hair on top with the scissor? Did they position their hand right? Kind of not necessarily judging, but just seeing their technique. So
Right. We
yes,
definitely like to compare our services compared to other people around the valley, just to make sure that we're doing things the right way.
correct. Yes.
But going on to the next question, if you could shout out anybody within the barber industry that helped you level up at any point, who would that be?
So a couple of people that I would give a shout out to would be Abe the barber and his wife. I know they provided a class at a barber supply store, and going there being one of my first classes, that was neat because I was able to confirm if I'm doing my fades correctly instead of just watching YouTube.
Okay.
So getting a perspective of how they do things, and also able to ask specific questions because it's live, it's right in front of you. Where on a YouTube channel, you can't ask that person because it's recorded. Another person that I would say a shout out to would be Phil the Barber. I invested in one of his class recently, and it was a 2-day class, and that was really cool because I was able to level up from there, kind of get more detailed with the tapers and the Edgar haircuts. With that class, I was able to it came with a JRL clippers, and that's how I found out about the JRL. And even from there, I invested in a blow dryer that JRL has that's super recommended. Very quiet, good engine. Um, Another person that I would say is Anna from Sport Clips. She used to be one of my managers, and she just being inspired as a seeing this woman running 2 stores. She was always positive. She was able to run a team, not in a dictatorship way. It was more of a positive enforcement. So that right there was really cool to see that because I seen, oh, if this lady can do that, I can do it too. So and I would say, like, as a single mom, that was really impactful. um Another person that I would do a shout out to would be, he's not in the barber industry but definitely showed me how to market myself and how to be behind camera, would be About People. So I know from there he showed me how to get all these followers without having to buy them like some people do. So that was really cool. And from there, I was able to get more interaction on my Instagram.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So what about yourself?
Honestly, I also have a couple of or a few that I'd like to shout out that helped me level up. I feel like my style of service was configured based on the positive habits that I inherited from each and every one of these individuals. So first and foremost, it would have to be Tony from OT's Barber College on 83rd Avenue in Indian School on the west
Okay.
side of Phoenix. I feel like I inherited a lot of his positive attributes.
Mm,
Secondly, would be Sal from Sal's Barbershop on 75th Avenue in Encanto. Him because he showed me how to freehand fade when me being a left-hander, I broke my left hand,
mm.
so I had to relearn with my right hand, and he was patient enough to teach me his ways, and
Wow.
I'm forever grateful.
Wow.
Aside from them two, Carlos and Yadira from Arizona Master Barbers on 44th Street in Oak.
Okay.
Them, my drop fades are because of them. And
Mm,
those, even though I take a little bit longer on those are my favorite haircuts to do. Whether it's a low fade or a medium drop fade, they're my
mm-hmm.
favorite.
Nice.
But after them would have to be my man Oscar at West Valley Barber Supply
Mm-hmm.
on
You guys
70.
know who he is.
Absolutely. On 75th Avenue in Cactus, he's top of the line when it comes to the supply industry.
Oh yeah, definitely. I go
And
there all the time.
I do too.
Yes.
Last but not least, my current bosses Donna and Jose at Varenco Barbershop. Due
Mm,
to them, like I mentioned, I learned or I was a little bit more daring when it came to the longer haircuts.
right.
Their teachings and their managerial skills are pretty much the same, not on a dictatorship level, but more because they want to see you grow. They want to see you
Mm,
expand your mind, and for them, it's more convenient for them because if you know what they know, whenever they're off or on vacation, their clients come in and they still need services. You
mm,
got them because you know what they know.
right.
So shout out to all of them on my behalf.
Nice. Yes. I think what's really important is when the person who has their barbershop is able to share that information to their barber so they're able to execute that haircut when they're not around, because at the end of the day, everybody wins when they have that type of mentality, and when those secrets are kept, some clients might not leave happy when someone else touches their hair. But if
Right.
people are able to get that consistency, again, like the whole shop wins. So that's really cool.
It's very beneficial. I agree.
Definitely. I think evolving is so important when it comes to this field because, again, there's so many different ways and techniques on how to do things. So, yeah, no, shout outs to them.
Absolutely. All right. The next question would be, what would you consider your area of expertise is within the barber industry?
Let's see. So, some expertise would be letting your growing in a fuller beard. I think I've had a lot of clients where they get their beard pushed down and they want more of a fuller look, and it could be difficult when they have patchy beards. But what requires is for that type of look would be patience, and then using products to help grow that beard. Even if that means to fill in a couple of areas in the beard, not necessarily a full enhancement, but just little tricks, and then just giving that full understanding that it might be about a 5 to 7 month process. So as long as they understand that, I think that I've been able to help people on their journey. I've had at least like 7 to 10 people who's been on the long beard journey, so they've been really happy with the results. So those are one of the expertise, and then also women's haircut,
Okay.
and or longer hair on top. So and a little bit of skin fades. What are your expertise in the barber industry?
Mm, I would have to refer back to my strengths being within the freehand fading. I feel
Mm,
like it provides a lot more speed when it comes to the process of the haircut itself.
mm-hmm.
And I do it myself. I have the capability of teaching it. So anybody that
Mm,
wants to learn, shoot me a DM or whatever.
nice.
But between freehand fading, I would also consider my area of expertise being under the blade work. I feel like my
Mm.
blade work differentiates when it comes to the lining
Mm-hmm.
or the freestyle designs on the haircuts. I just feel like I like the simplicity, and I take the time and the patience and the consistency to continue to evolve those skills. So I feel like within those two categories is where I consider my area of expertise is.
Ah, nice. Yeah. Nah, the designs are a little tricky for me, so got something to work on.
I feel like because I dedicated a little bit more time to it, that's what differentiated me from the
Mm-hmm.
rest of our community of barbers,
Right.
and it got Black Widow Razors to notice me and offer me ambassadorship. So
Wow.
get a discount, use discount code Hairblender Mike.
Nice.
All right. So, how do you feel like you're using your platform to create change or impact your community?
Huh, that's a good question. I think that one primary way is by understanding my purpose, not just in the barber industry or within my church, but my purpose in life. And I understand that my purpose in life is to serve. So regardless of where I am, if I can provide clarification, if I can help, one of my fellow barbers decipher or translate or understand what the client is asking for,
Mm.
I feel like I'm providing change. I'm using my light, the brightness of my light, to help others understand that they don't have to dim theirs for others. They
Mm.
don't have to.
Right.
So the more questions someone asks, the more knowledge they shall obtain.
Yes.
And so I feel like the way that I go about doing things is I don't dim my light for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that automatically allows others to kind of follow the same footsteps and do the same. Maybe not, through the same outlet
Mm-hmm.
that I'm doing, but within their own craft.
Yes.
I just feel like it helps. It helps open up everybody else's eyes and think to themselves: is that if he can do it, I can do it too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that's a really good example, setting that example and also giving some clarity. I could definitely relate the same. I would say giving that impact to the community is so important because being a barber or hairstylist is not just about cutting hair. It's therapy. It's a little bit of uplifting that person. And as we're all humans, right? We all go through shit. Life could be good sometimes and sometimes it could be tough. So I know when people come in and get a haircut, it almost seems like a restart for them, right? You're able to speak to them and see what's going on with them. Some talk, some don't, but when you do have that talk, it seems like you're able to give them more hope, or they're able to get out what they're feeling, which makes them feel better. Um, for me, I would say it's like you said, giving that light to them. And so I like to uplift people. And, there's a story that has always sat with me that they told me. One day there was this older lady who went into the beauty school. She went to get her haircut, her makeup done, her hair done. And the student was taking care of her, talking with her, and they had a really good time, drank some coffee. Um, After she was done with her service, 3, 4 days later, she writes a letter to the student and says, "Hey, I just want to let you know, thank you so much for servicing me. I actually went in to get everything done because I was about to commit suicide, and I wanted to look real nice at my funeral. And because of our talk and the time you spent with me, that actually prevented me from killing myself. Uh, and that story there was just so life changing because I realized how one person could really stop you from, you know, ending your life.
Making that final decision.
Yeah, yeah, because as life, it could be good, it could be tough, and sometimes we don't know what to do. But when someone is really positive or just gives almost like that type of love to you, again, you're able to bring that person back to reality and then just kind of comfort them. And so I felt like for me is being good to people, making them feel good when they get that nice haircut, and just bringing the best out of them. So yeah, so I think that's how I impact my community. But not only that, sometimes I get a few teenagers in my chair, and we might have the same culture, or I could tell what's going on because I was that teen as well. And so, if they feel like they have a little doubt, I could tell them, if I can do this, you can do it too. So I know that for me is really big. So like you said, just doing a big impact.
Okay, okay. Well, that was all the questions that we had that our viewers had selected for us to ask each other. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening. Just remember, if you're ever within the Phoenix area and you want to catch a fade, you guys can follow me or catch me
At Michael the Last Hair Blender, and
Linda Lou, the cut dealer.
Here in Phoenix, Arizona.
thank you guys very much for watching. Please
Peace.
comment, like, and subscribe.
Mhm.